America's best yodeler is now visiting Korea. Krristensen yodels in both Western and Alpine styles while playing the accordion. He performs across America and worldwide. He is now joining us in the studio to tell us about his music and life. Good morning, Kerry.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much for coming in. And that's such uplifting music. Love it. So, how long have you been yodeling?
Well, about 33 years now.
That's a long time.
Since I was about 21.
Uh-huh. Oh, I heard that you actually started singing when you were very, very little, at the age of 3.
Yes, I sang with my mother from the time I was very, very young. She was kind of like an opera coach. She didn't sing professionally, but I sang with my mom when I was really young.
Mm-hmm. And then how did you get into yodeling?
Well, I had the wonderful opportunity to go to Austria about the time I was 19 years old, because my family is German and Swiss and Austrian. And so I lived there for 2 years, and I got inspired to do yodeling in the Catholic churches in Austria.
Ah, so that's when you picked up yodeling.
Yeah, I grew up on a cattle ranch and a potato farm in Idaho, so that's cowboy, American cowboy. But I didn't like the American cowboy yodeling, and that wasn't something I was interested in until I saw this European yodeling.
What's the difference?
Oh, the stuff in Europe is just a lot more melodic, and it's a lot more listenable. There's a lot more challenging yodeling patterns and things like that, and it just sounds a lot better.
How did yodeling come to be?
Well, I did a research paper on it in college, and we believed that yodeling started in Africa. And there's still languages in Africa today that have yodeling in them with tongue clicks, like sort of like that. And then somehow it ended up in Tibet, in China. Yeah. And then Marco Polo, when he went to the East, we believe that he brought a lot of these ideas back into Europe, like Alp horns and yodeling to communicate on the mountains back and forth.
So it was a form of communication back in the
Originally it was just communication.
What was it about yodeling that fascinated you?
Well, it fascinated me because it was such an interesting medium. It was kind of like singing jazz. You know, you can do anything with it. And there's no restrictions because everybody's voice is different. And so you can try and copy somebody the way they do it, but it never comes out the right way because your voice is it's a lot like singers. You know, you can't really copy a famous singer, can you? You basically make it your own. So yodeling to me was like singing jazz, and that's why I like to do it.
But doesn't it require different techniques?
Oh, than singing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have to learn to break your voice over the registers. And, it takes a lot of time to perfect that so it sounds nice. I would say 80% of all yodelers in the world sing yodeling, and it doesn't sound very good. So it kind of has a bad name to it. And so my idea is to make it as beautiful and nice sounding as you can. So I practiced like 5 hours a day for 5 years before I ever did any yodeling for anybody.
I hear you practice so much at home to the point that your family just couldn't stand it anymore.
Yeah, well, you can imagine a mother who was basically into opera, and yodeling and opera people does not go together.
Right.
So she used to throw me out in the service room and says, "Don't come in until you quit." But I liked it so much. And also, working on the farm, going around and around a field 16 hours a day to plow my potato fields. Out of boredom, I did this. And so that gave me a lot of time to practice with nobody listening.
So you mentioned the different techniques that are needed, but does it help that you were already singing before?
Oh, yeah. The better you sing, the more, then you know whether pitches are right or when they're wrong, if you're flat or sharp. It's much better if you have already sung. So yeah, that's an advantage.
It sounds, when you hear yodeling, it sounds like you use your tongue a lot.
Yeah.
Like the tongue moves really, really fast.
A lot of times, some people don't use your tongue at all to yodel, and some people use it a lot. To me, you use everything you got. You use your tongue, you use the back of your throat. See, right now, if I were to yodel without my tongue, it would be like, with your tongue, it would be, so it's both the things together to make it work.
Yeah. Can you give us an example of how Western and Alpine styles are different? Like when we talk about Western style of yodeling, we're talking about cowboy yodeling.
Right, cowboy.
What does that sound like?
Well, the cowboy stuff, I guess I could do it. Maybe when I get the accordion on, I'll show you. The Western stuff basically only has 3 distinct patterns, and so it's very, very limited, where the Swiss, German, and Austrian stuff have hundreds and hundreds of different patterns you can work with. And so I guess that's why I didn't really like the cowboy stuff originally. And so, for example, there's a difference between Australian yodeling and cowboy yodeling. They start at a different place. I called Australian yodeling backward yodeling to the American cowboy. In other words, they would start, and American cowboy would, so they would start high and go low, and the American cowboy would go low and go high and back down like that.
I didn't realize there were so many different styles in yodeling.
And then you're talking about Jewish yodeling. And, there's Cajun yodeling, American Cajun, like the French culture. There's just everything. There's almost all the Hawaiians are beautiful yodelers. And the people in South America, like in Brazil and Argentina, they do a great job.
Wow, people yodel everywhere.
That's right.
I thought it was only in the Alps that people yodel.
It's a medium that's all over the world.
When did you realize that you were going to be yodeling for a living?
Oh, that is a long story. I never in my wildest dreams believed I would do this. I actually have a business degree from a university with a minor in psychology and marketing. I got married in 1978, and I had told my wife that I was going to go to law school. And so I finished my degree in about 1980, and before I had decided to get into law school, then Walt Disney World called up and asked me if I would come to Epcot Center in Florida and be their lead yodeler and vocalist. And so instead of going to law school right then we moved the family clear from Idaho to Utah, to Florida.
Orlando, yeah.
And then I was there for 8 years.
Wow.
Doing this. And there I learned how to play accordion and alphorn and cowbells and zither. So it became, because before that I was just basically a guitar player. Cowboy guitar player, basically. But then when I went to Disney, then I learned all these other things because I was working with some of the best musicians in the world. They were all New York Juilliard graduates. Yeah.
How difficult is it to play the accordion while you're yodeling?
Oh, accordion I found isn't any more difficult than playing piano. And people play the piano and sing a lot. So that's not any more difficult than doing that. I didn't find that to be that challenging. But I was learning from some of the best in the world because they were at Disney while I was there. And even though they wouldn't sit down and teach me, I just watched them and through osmosis picked it up. Yeah.
Did you enjoy working at Disney World? I mean, you were there for 8 years.
Disney is a great place. If you're doing something like we were doing, excuse me, that Disney couldn't go out and hire somebody just off the street. If you were a trumpet player or a trombone player or something like that, they were trying to replace you every year. But if you were a yodeler and you
nobody to replace you.
That's right. And I spoke German and I was able to do this yodeling. And so they would come into our dressing rooms once a month and say, "Hi, how you guys doing?" And we would say, "Fine." They say, "Bye." And then we wouldn't hear from them for another month because they knew very well, as long as we were making the people happy in the show, they were really happy with us. So I could still be there today. Yeah. But I quit there in 1990, and then I've been doing my own concerts since then.
Well, I'm sure our listeners are dying to hear
crazy
your
stuff.
song. So why don't you grab your accordion, and yes, we're going to listen to Kerry Christensen yodel live while he plays the accordion in the studio. What are you going to sing?
Well, let's see. One of the songs that I'm kind of famous for is called the chicken yodel. It's where I kind of sound like a chicken and yodel, and this has gone all over the world in commercials. I just sold the song to a company in Norway 2 or 3 months ago. Okay. So it goes like this. See if I can clear my throat a little. Hold on.
Wow. That's awesome.
So that's a comical thing, of course. You know, and it's not mainstream, but it's strange enough that people listen to it a little bit.
Yeah. Commercials for chicken companies?
No. It has nothing to do with
Really?
it. You see, now, as you listen to that, you're going, now that's pretty obnoxious. You understand? That's pretty annoying.
That's funny.
Annoying. Pretty funny. So they will put it on a commercial so that is the thing that catches people's ear.
To make them listen.
Yeah, not the fact that it's all that good or something that so that makes them listen to the commercial and possibly buy the product. And that's why they do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, we could do regular yodeling,
yes.
but that crazy chicken thing coming on. Yeah, that's what makes a difference.
Did you invent that?
I
the
invented
chicken
that.
yodel?
Yes, I invented that.
Okay, what else can you say?
All right, so you ask
about the Western.
The Western yodel. Let's see. You know, of course, there's a famous American singer called Eddie Arnold, and he did Cattle Call, and so it's kind of like a whining thing, kind of goes like this. So let me change the key. So that's American cowboy. Now the Australian thing.
You have a really long breath.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of breath. But the Australian cowboy stuff was backwards. Remember I told you it's backwards? It goes like this.
And then Alpine?
All right, here we go. This is the most popular yodeling song in the world today, and it's called the cuckoo yodel.
Okay. Wow, it really is amazing. What you can do with your with what you've got, the instrument and your mouth and your vocal
Like I say, I'm amazed I'm doing this for a living because not very many people get to do that. And it is, I love to travel. And so in 33 years of doing that, I've been able to go to lots and lots of countries and visit new cultures. This is the first time in Korea, so this has really, really been really fun for me.
I never realized yodeling can be that, form of art.
Yeah, it's art.
Yeah. So do you still practice a lot?
Well, okay. See, I do over 200 concert shows a year. So when I'm home, I don't practice. I just sit in my chair and watch American basketball and American football because I used to play that in high school.
I see.
So, I practice by doing concerts. I practice enough, and I just need rest.
What does your concert program look like then? Does it have all these different styles of songs?
When I do a 2-hour concert, I usually sing for an hour and then I take about a 15-minute break, and I do another 45 minutes. And so I don't ever plan out I don't plan what I'm programming. I don't plan a program. I just watch the audience, and I decide what they want to hear at any one given time.
Wow.
And then if they don't like the Alpine stuff, then I'll change to Cajun or to Jewish or something like that. And so everybody gets to hear a little bit of different things, and that's important.
Wow. How many songs do you have in your arsenal? So that you can just whip it out like that.
About 1,500.
Wow.
Somewhere in there.
1,500. Oh.
Those ones I can do just from memory, and then if I had the words, I could do a lot more.
How did you develop your skills?
Well, the skills were, like I say, my mom was a good singer, and so I already had that little skill going. And then when I went to Austria, then I learned to speak fluent German, so I could sing a lot of the Alpine stuff. But it was basically just going over it and over it. I used to actually go to in college when I was getting my business degree. I would go down into the music rooms and play piano and go like, can I make this happen? On the piano. And then if my voice would do it, then I would explore it a little bit more and create my own things from it.
So you sing originals as well?
Yeah. For example, this little Cajun thing, this American Cajun. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see. I don't know if I can do it. Stuff like that.
Wow. I'm amazed. I really am.
Anything can be done as long as you're crazy enough to put in the time.
Oh. Doesn't too much yodeling damage your voice or vocal cords?
Well, in the past, vocal teachers who teach how to sing opera, of course, they want you to sing with your diaphragm, and that's what my mother taught me how to do too. And if you sing with the pushing the air over the vocal cords and sing with your diaphragm, no, yodeling can't hurt you. It's when you sing like this, and you're doing it up in the top of your head, and you're rubbing your vocal cords together like that. That can create nodes, and that's why the vocal teachers don't like it. But if you sing like an opera singer and you yodel the same way and you're pushing air across the vocal cords, it's just using a muscle. And you get tired, sure, but I can, do yodeling songs for about 3 hours a day and no problem.
Are there more styles in the world for you to learn and develop? Or
I can create a new style every day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have your own style, like signature Carrie Christensen's?
Well, let's take... I walked into a jazz club once, and a jazz piano player said, "Why don't you do some jazz yodeling?" So I just popped, just out of my top of my head, I did this, and I ended up calling it the farmer's jazz yodel. It goes like this.
Wow.
Like that.
You can make something up just like that
and then
upon request.
Yeah. And then you can make things like, you played one of my songs right at first. It was called the William Tell Overture or Ono Kimosabi. You can actually sing. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, I understand that you've recorded a dozen of albums, including You Too Can Yodel, which provides yodeling techniques for those who want to learn.
Yes.
Is it something that anybody can learn?
Oh, I think anybody can learn as long as they can sing a little bit and as long as they're willing to practice. Now, when I came to Korea, when I put out You Too Can Yodel, it was just an audio thing because that's the way I think people learn the easiest. Now, the Korean yodelers in this area, and there's many, many, many of them, they actually took that You Too Can Yodel CD in audio form and put it into notes so that their students could learn it a little bit easier. And yesterday we've been teaching the students out of that. Now, I hadn't done it myself, but they created it all themselves. So that was really, really smart and very intelligent and so these Korean yodelers are wonderful.
Do we have a lot of yodelers?
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them in this area. And they're really, really good. Maybe not people who are truly professional that do it full time, but they could sing anywhere in the world and do really, really well.
And what styles do they sing in?
Well, they do a lot of Alpine. Swiss, German, Austrian stuff. And the young man I just came in with, he does American cowboy stuff. And he sings actually he's a chef, and he sings music while he's cooking beef. So he's right out there. That's him right there.
There you go. Come to think of it, I think in grade school you learn at least one yodel song in Korea.
What would that be?
No, don't make me do it. I don't want to do it, but it's like yodel-hee-hoo, something like that. You learn that in grade school. a yodel song. It's in the school music book.
And
but it was in my day.
Yeah, there's lots and lots of children's yodels. And in fact, you remember did you ever watch Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you remember that song? It goes like, hi ho, it's off to work we go. I positively can't. And then the yodel goes,
Awesome.
So we do that when I sing for children, and there's a lot of children in the audience, and I will always do something like that.
So you had a concert last Saturday in Incheon. You're performing again this coming Saturday in Paju. Anything special for the Korean audience?
Well, now it was interesting because the Korean yodelers over in Incheon wanted me to sing more of the Alpine stuff, and the ones over here are a little more progressive and a little more liberal, and so I'm going to be doing some Cajun things and some classical stuff. So we're going to do a little bit more different things, so they can finally learn something and a few other techniques. Okay.
When do you feel most rewarded and happy as a professional yodeler?
When I get to bed at night.
When the day is over.
When the day's over. Yeah. No, I travel a lot. The hardest part of my job is getting on an airplane every week and going somewhere. But when I'm actually doing the concerts and the people are enjoying what I do, that's the rewarding part. That's not the hard part. In fact, I tell people I don't get paid for yodeling, I get paid for traveling. Of course, you know that. You've probably done that a lot in your life too.
That's how you're able to keep going.
Yeah.
For 30-something years.
Yeah.
Any word of advice to those who want to yodel?
Well, I would say get a hold of the Korean yodeling associations here in Korea and start taking classes. That's the best way you can do it. These guys are fantastic, by the way. And then I don't know how we will tell people, but I mean you can just probably on YouTube look up Korean yodelers, and you will find all kinds of songs that they've already been doing, and then you can finally get in contact with these clubs. And that's how I would do it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Kerry, for coming in and playing music for us this morning. It's been a lot of fun.
Glad you enjoyed it a little bit.
Great luck with the concert.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
That's America's best yodeler, Kerry Christensen, in town for a series of concerts. And with that, we're wrapping up 101.3 Main Street for this Wednesday. Thanks, as always, for being with us. Stay tuned for K-Popular with Aswan coming up next. I'm An Jang-yeon. Have a happy hump day. I'll meet you back here tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock on the dot. Taking us out today is Kerry Christensen with, you're going to have to pronounce this one. The song.
Oh, it's Herzog Johann.
There you go.
It's Herzog Johann Yodelers.
Okay.
It's from Austria.
Let's play this.
Wo ich geh und steh, tut mir's mein Herz so weh. Oh, mein Steierland, das glaubst mir gewiss. Wo das Stützel knallt und der Gomsbock folgt, wo mein lieber Herzog Johann ist.